I bought a high-rise condo across from the station, but suddenly he brought up this story. Why now? It was surprising because he had purchased the condo behind my back while I was staying at my parents' house. It's an amazing place with a stunning view and spotless rooms, but I was in shock. He moved out of our apartment and into this luxurious condo without any explanation or apology, saying he used money from selling our old place. He told me, "I'm going to live with mom and dad in this great house, so I don't need a parasite like you." It was outrageous. He decided to live with his parents without consulting me and kicked me out. I was speechless, not knowing where to begin. My name is Sarah. I'm a 32-year-old housewife, 8 months pregnant, eagerly counting down the days until I meet my baby. My husband, Richard, is 35 and works for a major company. We've been married for 3 years, and I was thrilled to finally be pregnant after struggling to conceive. However, I was also terrified of childbirth. To ease my anxiety, I spent time at my in-laws' home. "Sarah, you're about to have a baby soon, huh? What's it like to become a mother?" Jane, Richard's brother's wife, asked me. Jane is the reason I visit my in-laws. She's a housewife and lives with them, and I've grown close to her. My mother-in-law had trouble with her legs 2 years ago, and Jane, who has caregiving experience, agreed to help. She's quite capable but is always there to assist. Her kindness impressed me, and as a more experienced mother, she helped ease my worries about childbirth. Now, with only a month left until my due date, I plan to stay at my parents' house to prepare for the birth. Although my belly felt heavy, I enjoyed shopping for the baby and imagining our new life. Spending time at my parents' home felt refreshing after a long while. 2 days past my due date, contractions started, and I tried reaching Richard, but he didn't answer. I was concerned he might be busy or in trouble. As my labor pains intensified, I focused solely on giving birth. Eventually, I welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the world. I cradled my beautiful baby girl for the first time, overwhelmed with happiness. Richard was supposed to be there for the birth, but he didn't show up at the hospital. I was too exhausted from labor to confront him directly, so I simply texted him to let him know I had given birth and then fell asleep. When I woke up, I heard someone calling my name. "Are you still asleep?" Richard's voice was grating. I blinked open my eyes to find him standing by my bed, with his parents in tow. He greeted me cheerfully. "My parents came. You have to appreciate them." I had specifically asked not to have visitors immediately after giving birth, so I was taken aback that he had brought his parents along without asking me. Irritated, I asked, "Why didn't you come yesterday?" He responded casually, "I promised to go eat sushi with my parents. I thought I'd come after that, but I drank a lot and figured it would be better not to come and be a trouble." I couldn't believe his priorities. While he enjoyed sushi and drinks, I was left to struggle through childbirth alone. Ignoring my irritation, he asked, "Where's our baby?" "She's in the nursery, a healthy baby girl," I replied. My mother-in-law's face tightened at the news. "What a girl," she muttered. "Such a useless wife." I was stunned by her comment. My father-in-law chimed in. Both Jane and Sarah blew it. "You're pathetic." I was hurt and furious that, instead of receiving gratitude for enduring childbirth, I was insulted. Richard, too, seemed disappointed. "Oh, damn it. I knew it was a girl, but I hoped for a boy." I got my hopes up. I didn't understand his disappointment. He explained that his parents had high hopes for a boy since our first child was a girl, but that didn't matter to me. To me, my baby was perfect, no matter her gender. Richard's reaction left me feeling alone and unsupported, as he seemed more aligned with his parents' expectations than with celebrating our new arrival. I was fuming with anger, but exhaustion and soreness from childbirth made it hard to muster the energy to confront Richard. Thankfully, a nurse who had overheard our conversation through the wall intervened and asked his parents to leave the room. She noticed my distress and offered me comfort as I cried. Since then, Richard hadn't visited me in the hospital. On the day of my discharge, I arranged for my parents to pick us up and take us to their home. I didn't want to return to our place in such a state. I couldn't understand why Richard had become so cold-hearted. He seemed so much more caring when we first married. I wondered if his change in demeanor was linked to his work issues from 2 years ago. He had made a significant mistake that caused a huge loss for his company. Though his colleagues covered for him, he never faced any real consequences. Still, the error derailed his career, and he had struggled to get back on track. His frustration and stress may have contributed to his emotional distance. Additionally, one of his colleagues, who had joined the company later, was now his boss. Richard had been better at his job initially, but their roles reversed due to his earlier mistake. The reversal must have been hard for him to accept, adding to his stress and affecting his behavior at home. I felt a mix of dissatisfaction and hope that having our baby would spark some change in him, but he didn't seem to be making any effort. I worried about our family's future and felt overwhelmed by the uncertainty. Then Richard called me unexpectedly. "Hey, when are you coming back? You've been gone for almost a month since the baby was born." I wasn't ready to go back yet. "Sorry, I'll be home soon. I need to get things in order for our daughter and start fresh." Richard's response was shocking. "You don't need to bring all that stuff back. I actually just wanted to discuss something with you. Maybe I should have told you this in person rather than over the phone." I was stunned and confused by his abruptness. What did he mean? I was completely baffled by what Richard was saying. Then he dropped an even more shocking revelation. "I bought a high-rise condo across from the station." I was stunned. "Wait, what do you mean?" I asked, trying to make sense of his sudden announcement. Why was he bringing this up now? He described the condo's stunning view and immaculate rooms, but I was confused. He had moved out of our apartment and into this luxury condo without telling me while I was staying at my parents' house. I was flabbergasted. Where did the money come from? You shouldn't be able to afford that on your salary. He made no apologies and simply said, "I used the money from selling our house." I needed clearer explanations, not just bits of information. "You sold our house. Where are your parents living now?" He seemed oddly pleased as he replied, "Daddy and Mommy are living with me in the condo now. I'm moving in with them, so I don't need a parasite like you. Get out." I was left speechless, unsure how to react. Richard had decided to live with his parents without consulting me and had kicked me out. He called his parents Daddy and Mommy with a new sense of familiarity and announced they were living together in the condo. He practically asked for a divorce. As I stood there, dumbfounded, he continued, "You're so arrogant for a housewife. You're useless without my salary. You've got a dead weight lately, especially with your morning sickness." I tried to explain that I had been busy right up until giving birth, but he wouldn't listen. He added, "And our baby isn't a boy. My parents think it's better to be with a younger woman who might give them a boy. They also don't want to live with you and my brother anymore." He told me he had put my things in a storage room and instructed me to pick them up. "As for the divorce, I've already sent you the papers. Make sure to file them." And with that, he hung up on me. I was stunned and paralyzed by the shock. How had I ended up married to someone so callous? I felt like I had made a terrible mistake, but there was no point in dwelling on it now. My priority was my daughter. I had to pull myself together for her sake. After taking some time to process everything, I resolved to sever all ties with Richard and begin a new chapter in my life. I was determined not to let him control me any longer. If a divorce was what it took, then so be it. I would show him who would truly regret this decision. My parents were furious when I told them about the situation. They immediately agreed to support me through the divorce. As soon as I received the divorce papers from Richard, I signed and filed them. About 2 weeks later, Richard unexpectedly showed up at my parents' house. "Hey, what's going on?" he demanded. "Why has so much money been withdrawn from my bank account?" He slammed his bank statements onto the table, glaring at me. I remained calm and replied, "Aren't you familiar with the term division of property?" "What's that supposed to mean?" he retorted, baffled. "That's not what this is." "The account in question is mine," I said firmly. "I'm not giving you a cent. I had previously deposited some money into your account, but it was shared property. I'm taking back what's rightfully mine." He was infuriated. "Why should I give you my money? You've forgotten that your salary went down because of your mistake at work. I started a side job at home. I'm sure you didn't earn as much as I did." "Actually, I earned as much as you did," I countered. "And you're the one who wanted the divorce. This conversation is over." Richard was incredulous. "You've got to be kidding me. I don't believe this." My father, who had been silent until then, finally spoke up. "How about we take this to court?" "How dare you insult my daughter?" I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for my daughter, who had endured so much because of Richard. "Get out of here, you bastard," I shouted. My father, a policeman, intimidated by Richard's menacing demeanor, made him flee from our house. That was the final end to our relationship, and the asset division issues were resolved. Since then, I've been focusing on raising my daughter at my parents' house. Adjusting to parenting has been a challenge, but she is an absolute joy. My life has taken on a new, happier rhythm with my adorable baby girl. A few months later, I started receiving persistent calls from an unknown number. Though I had ignored them initially, I decided to answer, thinking it might be my boss or colleagues. "Hello," I answered. "Hello, Sarah." It was Richard. "What you want?" I asked sharply. "How are you doing?" he asked. "I don't really want to discuss that." "Can I hang up now?" "Wait, can you come back? I'm having trouble paying the mortgage on the condo. I might get kicked out." I wasn't surprised. "You're short on cash, aren't you?" "Yeah, I've used up all my savings. Daddy hurt his back and had to quit his job. Mommy brags about her life, but now she's always sick. I'm at my wit's end." I wasn't shocked by his predicament. With his salary, he likely couldn't manage the condo's mortgage. He must have relied on his savings, his father's salary, and a down payment. Now that his father couldn't work and his mother spent extravagantly, he was struggling to cover their expenses. It was no wonder he was in trouble. When I checked my bank balance, it was at zero. I was informed that if I didn't pay by next week, I would be evicted. "Please come back, Sarah. We used to care about each other." I laughed, finding his pleas almost amusing. "Give me a break. You just want to exploit me whenever you need something. You expect me to support you and act as your housekeeper." Richard fell silent, and I remembered how he had called me a parasite. Wouldn't I just be in the way? I retorted, recalling the hurtful words he had used before. I had something weighing on my mind. "What about Jane and your brother?" "They've already moved out and are living together now," he said. "He had a falling out with our parents when my brother told Dad to live more appropriately. My brother lost his temper and said, 'I don't want to be told what to do by someone who's dependent on a woman who couldn't even give him a son.' Usually calm, my brother blew up. He left the house saying, 'I'll cut you off if you keep making fun of my wife.'" "I see. It sounds like he's a decent person. It's good to know he cares about Jane," I responded. "Please come back, Sarah." "Are you serious? Who would ever return to you? I'm fully occupied with taking care of my daughter. I can't deal with jerks like you. By the way, calling your parents daddy and mommy at your age is pathetic," I added. "Don't say stuff like that. You can take our daughter here if you want. Weren't you supposed to live with our daughter when you first asked me?" "Ah, well, oh, I see. You don't even remember. You had your daughter, didn't you? I would never take her to a father like you. Don't ever call me again. If you show up again, I'll call the police and my dad will make sure you get arrested." He made a pathetic sound, clearly recalling my dad's intimidating presence. I hung up and blocked him. Later, he tried calling me from a new number, but I had changed mine too. A bit later, Jane contacted me. "I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner. We moved to the countryside, and it took us a while to get internet access set up." Jane and her family had decided to live in a peaceful, rural setting. I visited their new home and found it to be a charming town surrounded by nature. I imagined how happy and well-adjusted my child would be growing up in such an environment. Jane's husband filled me in on my ex. He and his family were eventually evicted from their high-rise condo and burdened with debt. He was struggling to support his parents and barely making ends meet. In contrast, I was thriving. I worked from home and lived comfortably at my parents' house. Today, I was going to relax at Jane's place for a few days before returning to spend more time with my daughter. Once my daughter was a bit older, I hoped we could move to the area and live near Jane. With that bright future in mind, I happily enjoyed my time. Buying a high-rise condo while your wife is pregnant is insane. Maybe if you're rich, but it's ridiculous on a normal income, I thought. I was relieved to have left such an unlikable husband behind. I wished Jane and her family all the best, hoping they would continue to live harmoniously together. Thank you for watching to the end. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.